Our experts are ready to share the analysis of US stock market trends and short-term forecasts. Despite gains on Tuesday, Wall Street was trading in the red during the New York pre-market today. Optimism is over. Instead, the pragmatic approach is setting the tone in the market, trading under high volatility. And now let's discuss the details. The US major stock indexes closed with impressive gains yesterday. The Dow Jones closed 1% up, the Nasdaq climbed 1.8%, and the S&P 500 added 1.2%. To close at 4,619 points. The index first conquered this peak on February 24 and later fell to the levels of mid-January. The pre-market today was not so optimistic. The S&P 500 is drifting downwards. The expected corridor for today is seen between 4,590 and 4,670 points. The optimism among Wall Street investors came as a response to progress in the Russia-Ukraine talks. The delegates made promising statements about prospects of a truce and a meeting of the two presidents. However, the parties dashed investors' hopes by reporting full details and new assessments. By and large, the talks again ended in nothing. The delegates did not agree on the de-escalation moves. As a result, investors are shifting focus towards the economic calendar. Meanwhile, the stock market has reversed downwards. A further trajectory will depend on crucial economic data that is due later this week. The US dollar incurred painful losses in the last 24 hours. Its index dropped from 98.50 to 97.80, having lost almost 1%. By the moment of the recording this video, the greenback has perked up, trading slightly higher. The index is likely to trade in the corridor between 97.70 and 98.30 today. It's no surprise that the US dollar was losing ground while investors regained appetite for risk. Inspired by signs of progress in the talks, the greenback's four-day winning streak ended with a deep correction. Its index is expected to decline to 98 and 97.70 and rebound afterwards. The long-term outlook for the greenback remains bullish. It will be hardly replaced as the world's reserve currency. Besides, investors appreciate it as a safe haven asset, betting on its strength on the back of the Fed's hawkish rhetoric. Traders are braced for higher volatility until the end of the week. Traders will be able to reassess their prospects of the next rate hike in May through the macroeconomic data, which is due later this week. The US GDP data suggests some conclusions. The US economy expanded 6.9% in annual terms in the final quarter of 2021. The revised score is 0.2% lower than the consensus. Nevertheless, this growth rate is viewed as the strongest since the record expansion by 33.8% in the third quarter of 2020. According to the ADP employment report, the US private sector added 455,000 jobs in March, excluding farm employment. The reading is lower than 486,000 new jobs created in February, but it surpasses the forecast by 5,000 jobs. The USD CAD pair climbed to 1.2520 and moved downwards. The pair is set to trade lower in the near future, inside the expected corridor between 1.24 and 1.2580. The loonie is taking advantage of the greenback's slide. Meanwhile, the US dollar is trading without a clear-cut trend in anticipation of the macroeconomic data. The Canadian dollar is fed by a rally in the oil market. Oil prices will hardly decline in the short term. Crude remains at elevated levels for a few reasons. The OPEC Plus summit, discussions about the currency for oil payments, US crude inventories data, and the global revision of the energy policy. Besides, the loonie finds support from the Bank of Canada, which is widely expected to raise the key interest rate by 0.25% on April 13. In this context, the Canadian dollar has stronger fundamentals than its American rival in the short term. However, a lot will depend on the US statistics and the level of geopolitical tensions. Bitcoin edged down 0.37% to trade at 47,298 points yesterday. And today it's creeping lower, despite the fact that Bitcoin failed to settle above 48,000. Analysts believe in the bullish outlook for the flagship crypto. Technical indicators prove the uptrend at least for a while. Previously, the digital token was locked in a range for 3 months in a row. The flat market is out of the question now. The crypto is unlikely to decline below 45,600 in the near future, and it's projected to make another attempt to settle above 48,000. Keep close tabs on the US market in our evening videos on InstaForex TV channel, and see you tomorrow.